In a harrowing turn that will shake the very foundations of the Forrester Finnegan dynasty, the aftermath of an unthinkable explosion at the makeshift detention site where Luna Nozawa had been held captive unleashed chaos, trauma, and irreversible consequences for Steffy Forrester Finnegan. What was intended as a secure, guarded containment, the repurposed outbuilding on the Finnegan estate where Deputy Chief Bradley Baker had agreed to house Luna under protective custody, erupted in a thunderous roar when a hidden cache of Luna's homemade explosives, long suspected but never found, detonated by accident during routine maintenance. The shockwave shattered the reinforced walls, sent sheets of concrete raining down, and hurled Steffy into a world of blood and shattered glass. Emergency crews scrambled through collapsing beams to reach her. When they finally extracted her from the wreckage, her body was broken in multiple places, and the paramedics' frantic efforts to stabilize her on the stretcher could not conceal the truth. Steffy's most prized gift, her memory, had been shattered beyond recognition. In the intensive care unit that buzzed with the low hum of machines and the rustle of anxious scrubs, Steffy lay unconscious, her once vivid recollections of John Finnegan's tender smile and her children's laughter erased as if plucked from her mind by the explosion's dark force. When she finally awoke to the sterile white ceiling and the beep of the heart monitor, she did not recognize the face of her husband, nor did the names Kelly or Hayden evoke any warmth in her heart. Only a hollow confusion. This terrifying blank slate, however, was exactly the opportunity Luna had been scheming toward ever since her murderous obsession with Steffy first surfaced. With Steffy incapacitated and amnesiac, Luna Nozawa, now out of custody after being presumed trapped in the rubble, re-emerged not as the villain the world knew but as Steffy's apparent savior, the only comforting presence at her bedside. Luna masqueraded as a devoted sister bent on nursing Steffy back to health, weaving a meticulous web of lies in every whispered conversation, in every staged memory she fabricated, a childhood spent inseparable, secrets shared between sisters. Luna always watching over Steffy when their parents were away, Luna the one constant in Steffy's imagined upbringing. She guided Steffy's rehabilitation sessions, handed her photo albums doctored to include Luna in every chapter of her past, coached hospital staff to address them as the Ferreira sisters, and to speak of Luna's heroism in saving Steffy from the wreckage. As Steffy's body healed, her mind settled into the false reality Luna had constructed. In that new narrative, Finn was a distant stranger, the children no more than strangers at school whose faces Steffy half remembered, but who tugged at her heart like unknown weights. Luna, by contrast, was the only person who made sense, always there, always caring, always the sister who had risked everything to protect her. Beneath the veneer of gentle concern, though, Luna's true intentions writhed. She needed Steffy entirely dependent on her, devoid of any loyalty to Finn or her children, vulnerable to Luna's every manipulation. Each therapy session became a tutorial in Luna's mythology, with Luna prompting Steffy to repeat mantras about their unbreakable bond and the betrayals of others. When Finn finally made his way to Steffy's hospital room, heart pounding with hope and fear, Luna intercepted him with a serene smile, insisting that he leave his intrusive presence at the door and come back when she's ready to remember you. Heartbroken but thwarted by hospital policy, unknowingly enforced by Luna's whispered instructions to the staff, Finn stood in the corridor, desperate to break through but barred by sworn orders that Luna, the official guardian, had signed off on. Outside, Ridge Forrester and Liam Spencer conferred with Dr. Taylor Hayes, who confessed her own guilt at having shared Luna's location and inadvertently facilitated the chain of events leading to the explosion. They faced a moral abyss: rescue Steffy from Luna's clutches now and risk triggering a mental rupture that might leave her forever unable to recall her true life, or bide their time, gather proof of Luna's deceit, and risk Steffi lapsing ever deeper into the constructed fantasy. Meanwhile, Luna's performance grew more elaborate. She arranged photo shoots in a staged childhood home, invited local press to see Steffi's triumphant recovery, and even scripted public service announcements in which she posed as Steffi's redeemer. Viewers tuning in to CBS this Friday will witness Steffi's agonizing struggle as she begins to sense fissures in Luna's fabricated reality. Fleeting flashes of maternal instinct when she hears a child's laughter on the hospital PA, pangs of loss when Finn's name crosses her vision in news headlines out in the waiting room. A moment of vertigo when the memory of cradle songs she never sang threatens to surface. The countdown to Steffi's liberation, or her permanent captivity within Luna's mind, is on. Will Ridge, Liam, and Taylor penetrate the fortress of lies before Luna cements her fabricated past into Steffi's psyche forever? Can Finn break through the fog of amnesia and reclaim the woman he loves along with their children? Or will Luna's chilling dream of being the only sister Steffi remembers come true, leaving the Forrester and Finnegan legacies fractured beyond repair? One thing is certain. In a battle for Steffi's very identity, the stakes have never been higher, and the daring rescue that once saved her life may now demand the most perilous gambit of all. Raiding the fortress of her own mind to restore the truth. Tune in this Friday, July 4th, on CBS's The Bold and the Beautiful, where the line between savior and captive blurs, and love must wage war against the darkest impulses of deception. The moment of truth arrives under the sterile glare of fluorescent lights when Ridge, Liam, Finn, Taylor, and a small team of trusted allies converge on the hospital's administrative wing, armed with forged guardianship documents, emergency waivers, and Taylor's newfound leverage, an audio tape of Luna confessing to fabricating every childhood memory, every whispered secret, and every pressed lie into Steffi's amnesiac mind. Disguised in scrubs and masks pilfered from a night shift supply closet, they slip through a semi-unlocked door and make their way down the corridor to Steffi's room, hearts pounding at every footstep, minds racing with what-ifs. Finn's throat constricts as he reads the room number on the chart, for 27B. He shares a brief, resolute glance with Ridge, who nods, jaw set. Then Taylor intercepts the lone nurse on duty, flashing the doctored papers that declare Luna an unauthorized guardian and identifying the Spencer Forrester rescue team as approved next of kin. The nurse hesitates, but a well-placed reminder that her license and reputation hang in the balance. Once the hospital's internal affairs hear about her cooperation, persuades her to swipe the keycard. The door clicks open, and for the first time in weeks, they step into the private hell Luna has so meticulously crafted. Inside, Steffi lies motionless, hair splayed like a halo against the pillow, four lines crisscrossing her arms and a faint beeping from the heart monitor marking the slow rhythm of her confused mind. Luna perches beside the bed, primly adjusting a hand-sewn quilt draped over Steffi's legs. An innocuous patchwork catch-all that Luna claimed Steffi's sister had sewn for her during their shared childhood hospital stays. Hearing the door open, Luna rises gracefully, pressing a finger to her lips as if to hush any protest. "Shoo, she's resting," Luna croons, glancing over her shoulder at the intruders with a smile that falters only when Taylor steps forward, tape recorder in hand and faces tilted toward the reel's twirling spool. "Luna, stop this," Taylor demands, voice echoing off the pale walls. "We know you lied. We have proof. You have no right to keep Steffi here." Luna's lips curve into an elegant sneer. "Proof," she breathes, taking a step toward Taylor. "What proof could you have that would ever matter more than the bond Steffi and I share?" Taylor presses play, and the room fills with Luna's own voice, low and unguarded. "I invented every memory, Taylor. I planted the scrapbook and doctored the photos. I made her forget her real life so she'd cling to me." Luna's expression crumbles for a moment in horrified recognition, her voice, her own admission, now an undeniable indictment, and she recoils as though struck. But seconds later, she regains her composure, hand darting toward her waistband as if reflexively reaching for a hidden weapon. Ridge lunges, tackling Luna's arm, while Liam and Finn secure her other limb, ripping away a combat knife before it can be drawn. In the scramble, the quilt falls away to reveal a crude tattoo on Steffi's forearm, one of Finn's handwriting disguised as childish scrawl, "Finn loves you." Steffi's eyes flutter open at the sound of commotion, and for the first time since the blast, recognition flashes in her gaze when she sees Finn's face bent close to hers. He presses a trembling hand against her cheek and whispers, "It's me, Steffi." "Finn, please, look at me." Something in his tone, the weight of his love and fear, ignites a spark within the fog of her mind. Her eyes sharpen, tears pooling as a tremor runs through her body. "Finn," she whispers, voice raw and disbelieving. "John? My John?" He nods, tears streaming down his face, and whispers her pet name, the one only she and their daughter Kelly ever used. "My steel magnol." The syllable breaks on his lips as her arm jerks, muscles awakening as if from a long, torturous sleep. She fights to lift her hand and brushes her palm against his cheek. Recognition floods her pupils, a moment of clarity so intense it pains her. "My children," she breathes, eyes darting around the room as images whirl in her mind. A tiny hand in hers, Dylan's paint-splattered smock, Kelly's first toothless grin. In that heartbeat, the false narrative Luna wove collapses like a house of cards. Luna, panic strangling her throat, tries one last gambit. "Steffi, they're lying to you. I rescued you from that explosion." But Steffi's gaze hardens. She pushes herself upward, ignoring the protest of her broken ribs, and turns to face Luna with a strength born of rediscovered truth. "The only thing you rescued me from," she says, voice firm, "was my real life." Ridge steps beside her, offering an arm. Liam stands guard, eyes blazing with protective fury. Taylor produces the original family photo album, unretouched, unedited. Its pages emblazoned with images of Steffi and Finn's wedding day, the baptism of their children, family vacations under Malibu's sun. Steffi turns the pages with a reverence that Luna's falsified quilt could never inspire, tracing the faces she once loved. "This is my past," she murmurs, closing the album with a decisive snap. "And these," she gestures to Finn and the others, "are my present and my future. You have no place in it." Luna's shoulders slump as the rescue team's hold tightens. Dr. Taylor Hayes orders sedation instinctively, but Steffi raises a hand to stop her. "No," she says gently, "I want her to remember too. I want her to see what she did." Luna's tear-lined gaze meets Steffi's, and for an agonizing second the two women stand locked in the aftermath of a shattered mind and a web of lies. Then Luna's knees buckle, and she collapses, sobs racking her frame as the truth she once twisted into power now suffocates her. Paramedics wheel her away under loosely fitting restraints, and Steffi watches, chest heaving, as Luna's cries fade down the hallway. In the hours that follow, Steffi remains in her own bed, reunited at last with Finn, who never leaves her side, and their children, who rush in to embrace her with shouts of "Mama." Ridge and Liam cradle each other in relief just outside the room while Taylor confesses her guilt and swears she will spend the rest of her life making amends. Steffi, fragile but resolute, places her hand over Taylor's and forgives her, an act of grace so impossibly generous it brings tears to everyone's eyes. When Deputy Chief Baker arrives to clear the record, he offers a curt apology for his initial complacency. Steffi simply nods, saying, "We all make mistakes. What matters is that we own them." And in that moment, Steffi Forrester Finnegan transforms from a victim robbed of her identity into a woman reborn, her memory and her love restored by the courage of those who refuse to let her be lost. Luna Nozawa, meanwhile, is transferred to a secure psychiatric facility, her fate uncertain, but her power irrevocably broken by her own desperation. As the Forrester, Finnegan clan rebuilds in the gentle glow of a California sunset. Every shared smile and every soft word carries the weight of hard-won truth, that no lie can stand against the bonds of love, and no darkness can endure when the light of memory and family shines through.